kindly, the way I'd want to be, if I had to walk in his shoes. And I kept trying to talk to him. About the time Nick turned 11, a year after his arrival, his expression became a bit softer. Sometimes when he looked my way, there was even an inkling of a smile. But the misery lurking in his eyes never faded. It was then he started working for my father on Saturdays and weekdays after school. I'd wander out to the barn, if my sister was looking after Mom, to watch him haul manure with Dot and my older brother Mose. Quickly, I learned not to call hello when I entered the barn because there was just no getting a response from the bishop's second son. For the longest time, I actually assumed Nick Franco was partly deaf. Eventually, I tried talking to the horses, loud enough for Nick to hear. "You're growing a thicker coat, ain't you, Upsy-Daisy?" I might say, stroking our oldest mare while glancing at Nick out of the corner of my eye. "Winter'll be here before we know it, ain't?" Nick would sometimes snicker or cough. Now and again he might even mutter something back like, "Ain't even fall yet," and then quickly return to his apathetic whistling. For the longest time, this strange sort of game continued between us. Then, one day, he began to say a few words directly to me. I felt ever so proud, in a good way, of course. Yeah, somehow we'd managed to become friends. And considering his sullen nature and the way he normally kept to himself, even during school recess, I dare say I was his only friend. One afternoon, he surprised me by asking if I'd go riding horses with him just for fun. He was still quite standoffish, so I was taken aback at this invitation, and I resisted. Nick persisted the next day, and the next, just as I had all those months trying to draw him out in conversation. At last, I agreed. So he took one of the bishop's spirited colts, and I chose our feisty George, and we rode along the narrow, treed section of Salem Road, west of our house, down past the Amish schoolhouse and Farmdale Road. Oh, what a wonderful good time it was. I'd never felt so carefree in all of my young life, the wind on my face, my hair falling out of its formal bun. Much to Nick's and my own amusement, but hopefully not to the Lord's dismay. It was a turning point in our friendship, and little by little, I began to feel more comfortable with the shy city boy who rarely spoke as he listened to me chatter on about whatever popped into my head. Last month, after preaching service, Mom eyed Nick while we sat on the lawn waiting for the common meal. "I hope you know that boy's trouble," she said softly from her wheelchair. "Dot's had him working for us all these years," I replied too quickly. Mom waved her hand absently. "Working and socializing are altogether different." She let out a long sigh, her eyes growing stern. "Just mark my words, Nick ain't our kind." I considered that, surprised she was so pointed. "Bishop made him one of us by taking him in, yeah? Plain clothes don't make you Amish and never will. And just look at that ponytail he's got." Mom clucked her tongue. "I honestly pity the girl who ends up married to him." I nodded my head wholeheartedly. The way he was wearing his hair so long and back made anyone look twice, especially since the rest of 'em looked downright Amish. "Hen's blunder ought to be a lesson to any girl," Mom added. Always, always, my parents set up my only sister as an example to encourage my ongoing compliance. "Look what Hen went and did," they'd say, getting herself hitched to Brandon Oranger, her Englisher husband. "Don't worry, Mom. I'd never marry someone who's not really Amish." My mother gave me a fleeting glance, then turned to greet her many sisters and oodles of Kauffman and blank cousins as they stopped to chat. The steady flow of womenfolk continued, all of them ever so fond of Mom. And as they came, I caught their unmistakably sympathetic gaze, since I was stuck there and not off with the other youth. And I couldn't help thinking how very different Mom's life might now be, and mine too, if I'd simply gone with my mother to market that long ago autumn day.